Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Jnanatimirandasya Gnananandana Chalmakaya. Akshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Krishna Padaya Krishna Krishnaya Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Bhaktavinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Ram Ram Hare Hare. Okay, 18.10. न द्वेष्ट्य कुशलं कर्म कुशलेनानुसज्जते त्यागी सत्त्वसमाविष्टो मेधावी छिन्न संशयः. The intelligent renouncer situated in the mode of goodness, neither hateful of inauspicious work nor attached to auspicious work, has no doubts about work. A person in Krishna consciousness or in the mode of goodness does not hate anyone or anything which troubles his body. He does his work in the proper place and at the proper time without fearing the troublesome effects of his duty. Such a person situated in transcendence should be understood to be most intelligent and beyond all doubts in his activities. The person in Krishna consciousness does not hate anyone or anything which troubles his body, mind, etc. Right, so this is very important. Normally we like some people, we like some situations, then we don't like, or hate is an extreme emotion. We hate some things, we hate some people. Person in Krishna consciousness, Prabhupada is saying here, does not hate anyone or anything because of which or because of whom you're troubled either bodily or mentally. So we should not have these extreme emotions towards material people or material things unless it is connected with the Lord. Right? When it is something connected with the Lord and some person blasphemes a devotee, blasphemes Krishna, then we can become angry. But still, I mean, we don't have to hate. We can become angry. We can chastise them with the intention that they can rectify themselves, because otherwise they're going to go to hell. But if a person is a demon and repeatedly blasphemes, then better be away from such people, because otherwise we will become the reason for them to go to hell. But otherwise, just on the material platform and in connection with us, in connection with the relationship with us, or not connected to the Lord or these devotees, we should not get into this emotional situation with people, right? Hate, like, dislike. We have to just look at them on the platform of the soul and see that, okay, whatever they are doing which is hurting me is just my own karma pala. They're just postmen. Why should I be upset with the postman who brings the news? Maybe the news is bad, but he's not responsible for it. The devotee looks at uh, these situations or people who are causing him individually some kind of unhappiness or misery as just agents of his karma. So he or she doesn't take it too seriously. In fact, they consider that, okay, I have so much of bad karma I have done, because of which I'm having to suffer so much. And that makes them more humble, saying that, oh, how useless, I mean, how badly I've lived my previous life. So let me now, this life, make it perfect by following the statements of Krishna and Acharyas. So they will, devotees look at all situations uh, in a way that, it can help them make progress. Devotees never discouraged by any material situation. So there is no question of hating. If everything seems like favorable for Krishna consciousness, then why hate? Also, it's important it does work in the proper place and at the proper time. Nowadays, people work in improper places at improper time. So it's not that because devotees he doesn't fear the troublesome effects of his duty. It doesn't mean that he has to engage in inauspicious work. Doesn't mean that he should engage in ugra karma. So we should always engage in proper place, proper time. Even for earning our livelihood, it should be proper place, proper time. I know that many years in of my life before I came to Krishna consciousness, I used to work like ghostly hours. Ghostly hours meaning during that time only ghosts are active, not normal people. So that's not proper time for work. Proper time for work is during the day, 10 to 6 is the proper time for work. That's all. And proper place also. We should know, we should be aware of what kind of place we are working in. Some places are very demoniac. Mm, so we should not work in such places. Such a person who can make these adjustments in his life, he is the most intelligent and beyond all doubts in his activities. The most intelligent to be able to do this anukulyasya sankalpa pratikulyasya varjanam with respect to our work, it requires a lot of intelligence and not being emotionally stuck up. Many people are emotional about their situations and they don't want to use intelligence, they don't want to use logic. So we should not be like that. Krishna consciousness means, that's why I keep highlighting, saying it is knowledge based on knowledge. It's not simply mm, feelings. It's not feelings. So we should know knowledge. We should know what is right, what is wrong as per Shastra. Prabhupada's purports are so enlightening. Each and the three-line purport we can speak for hours together. So much, each and every word here. Hate, proper place, proper time, most intelligent. This should cause us to think, oh, what does this mean? We should not speculate because Prabhupada has answered this in rest of his purports, has elaborated these concepts in rest of his purports. So we have to, as we keep reading continuously, we will get a complete understanding of what each and every word Prabhupada is saying, right? First time, second time reading might not give us that much clarity, but that is the reason, we have to keep reading Prabhupada's books again and again and again and again. Nahi deha bhrita shakyam tyaktum karmanya sheshatah yastu karma phala tyagi satyagi tyabhidhiyate. It is indeed impossible for an embodied being to give up all activities, but he who renounces the fruits of action is called one who has truly renounced. It is said in the Bhagavad Gita that one can never give up work at any time. Therefore, he who works for Krishna and does not enjoy fruitive results, who offers everything to Krishna, is actual renouncer. So this is the sum and substance of work. Total. Works for Krishna, does not enjoy fruits, offers everything to Krishna, is actual enjoyer. There are many members of the International Society for Krishna Consciousness who work very hard in their office or in factory or some other place. And whatever they earn, they give it to the society. Jayananda Prabhu. He was doing this. It's just work, come and give whole amount to Prabhupada. And Prabhupada used to give him something for this expenses. Such highly elevated souls are actually sannyasis and are situated in the renounced order of life, though they are working. Uh, because it's not the dress that we wear, it is the consciousness that we wear. It's clearly outlined here how to renounce the fruits of work and for what purpose fruit should be renounced. For what purpose is also very, very important. People renounce their earning for some so-called material good works, which is also good, like we read in 12th chapter. Those who cannot completely engage, use their Lakshmi for Krishna's service, they should at least be engaged to do some social welfare work, because at least they will renounce the fruits, and slowly, steadily, they can come to the higher consciousness. But the best use of fruits is directly in Krishna's service, or Krishna directly. Okay, so this is about pretty much about renunciation. Anishtam ishtam mishram cha trividham karmana phalam bhavatyaginam pretya natu sannyasinam kvachit. For one who is not renounced, threefold fruits of action. Not renounced means who is attached to the fruits. There are threefold fruits of action, three types of karma phala. Desirable, undesirable, mixed. Accrue after death. So karma phala accrues after death. But those who are in the renounced order of life have no such result to suffer or enjoy. Person in Krishna consciousness acting in knowledge of his relationship with Krishna is always liberated. See, therefore he does not have to enjoy or suffer the results. It's not just one in renounced order. Person in Krishna consciousness who is acting in knowledge of his relationship with Krishna, meaning I am Krishna's servant. So whatever I do is for his pleasure and I will use the results for his service. He is liberated. Whatever he might be doing murder, he still is not implicated. Of course, the person who is a devotee of Krishna will eventually stop, even if in the beginning he's engaged in some uh, you know, inauspicious kind of work. Over a period of time, he will come out, because as he starts using his money for Krishna, then the earning becomes purified, his Maya consciousness becomes purified, and he'll stop all kinds of nonsense activities. Because it is so powerful. The purification process is so powerful. Simply giving money to Krishna, we become purified. That is the reason now I keep encouraging grastas, people who are earning, to give Lakshmi to Krishna. It purifies us. Otherwise, the outside world is very, very contaminating. It's unimaginably contaminating. Every moment we are outside, in this miserable Kali Yuga, we are contaminating ourselves. We are contaminating our consciousness. We are degrading our soul. So when we offer the results to Krishna, all that contamination gets nullified. And in fact, we'll get even additionally purified. And we will make sure that over a period of time, we stop engaging in such unholy activities. It's not that we should not work. We have to work, because if we have to take care of our family, it's a grihastha's responsibility. But we should choose work accordingly. And how does it happen? Whatever work we are in, when we start offering results to Krishna, automatically we become purified, our mind becomes, consciousness becomes purified. Then we will not feel like engaging in such work. Then slowly, steadily, we'll start figuring out, okay, what can I do such which will be acceptable to Krishna. Otherwise, there's karma phala. At the end of at death, it is all accrued. It is said. Panchaitani mahabaho karanani nibodha me sankhye kritante proktani siddhaye sarva karmanam. O mighty armed Arjuna, according to the Vedanta, there are 5 causes for the accomplishment of all action. Now learn of these from me. A question may be raised that since any activity performed must have some reaction How is it that the person in Krishna consciousness does not suffer or enjoy the reactions of work? The Lord is citing Vedanta philosophy to show how this is possible. He says that there are 5 causes for all activities, and for success in all activity, one should consider these 5 causes. Sankhya means stock of knowledge, and Vedanta is the final stock of knowledge accepted by all leading acharyas. Even Shankara accepts Vedanta Sutra as such. Therefore, such authority should be consulted. The ultimate control is invested in the super soul, that we'll come to know in the next verse. As it is stated in the Bhagavad Gita, Sarvasya Chaham Hridi Sannivishtaha is engaging everyone in certain activities by reminding him of his past actions. And Krishna conscious acts done under his direction from within yield no reaction either in this life or in life after death. So basically the answer is, how come devotees don't suffer or enjoy any reactions of birth? There's no karma phala. And because Paramatma, because they work under the direction of Paramatma, meaning they do what Paramatma is directing them to do, so there is no reaction. Because it's like Prabhupada gave this example, somebody who is fighting for the army, he is just following the orders of the superior, so he is not responsible for his acts. So he might kill so many people, but he is not, punished for that. Or just like if he would have killed somebody out of his own accord, then he would have had to be punished. But because he is following superior authority, he is not punished. So similarly, because the devotee is following what acharyas are saying, what Krishna is saying, and doing accordingly, so there is no karma phala. So Paramatma is the. So this next verse is very important for those who are very proud about their accomplishments, be it material or spiritual. Adhishtanam tatha karta karanam cha prithagvidham vividhascha prithak cheshta daivam chaivatra panchamam. So there are 5 factors of action. The place of action, which is the body. The performer, which is the soul, the jiva. The various senses, the many different kinds of endeavor, and ultimately the super soul. These are the 5 factors of action. So here, I mean, for people who are very proud, oh, I did it. Actually, their conception of I itself is first confusing, because they don't know who that I is, because they don't know that they are the soul. So they think that they're the body or the mind. And if it is the body or the mind, anyway, it's or their senses, which is there, maybe their intelligence or whatever it is. These are just 1 or 2 factors. And those who know that they are the soul, even if they think, oh, the soul have done it, still soul is just 1 factor. So there's no reason for somebody who is in false ego and real ego. There's no need to be proud. There's no need to think of ourselves as the doer. See, the whole secret of this karma, how to avoid karma phala, is just by being situated in the platform that I am not the doer. I am not the doer. Because there are 5 factors for action. I'm just one of the factors. So I cannot be the sole doer. So I'm not the doer. Purport. The word adhishtanam refers to the body. The soul within the body is acting to bring about results of activity and is therefore known as karta, doer. That soul is the knower and doer is stated in the Shruti. Esha hi drishta srishta. It is also confirmed in the Vedanta Sutra by the verses Gnota eva and karta shastrarthavatvat. These, the instruments of action are the senses, and by senses the soul acts in various ways. For each and every action there is a different endeavor, but all one's activities depend on the will of Super Soul, who is seated within the heart of a friend. The Supreme Lord is a super cause. Under these circumstances, he who is acting in Krishna consciousness under the direction of the Super Soul situated within the heart is naturally not bound by any activity. Those in complete Krishna consciousness are not ultimately responsible for their actions. Everything is dependent on the supreme will, the super soul, the supreme person of Godhead. But the important part here is complete Krishna consciousness, meaning there is no material consciousness. There is no consciousness of, false ego. It's complete Krishna consciousness, meaning 100% of what that person does is completely under the guidance of Guru Sadhu Shastra. Then whatever that person is doing, there's no reactions to it. Even though it might not be directly Krishna conscious. For example, it's not Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu Smaranam, but say he's going to the market to get some flowers, for example. And he might, do whatever, on the way, he might do, say, things which are not necessarily completely correct, or, but still, he's not responsible for his actions. Maybe he's bargaining, maybe he shouted at the fruit, flower vendor, whatever it is. Because he's doing everything for the pleasure of Krishna. For example, people want to cheat. When they see devotees wearing tilak, they say, okay, easy bakra, let me cheat him. But the devotee is very intelligent. So he might refuse, he might, whatever, however he thinks appropriate, he might react. But otherwise, a normal person would have had to, experience the karma phala if he's rude to somebody, shouting at somebody, etc. But devotee does not become responsible for those actions because he's doing all of it just for the pleasure of Krishna. That doesn't give us a license to just go shouting at people, right, or misbehaving with people. But if it is required, if it is warranted, then we could act that way. But the devotee generally tries to avoid these kind of situations. But we know of so many situations when people are blatantly out there to rip us off our Krishna's money. And then we might, like Narada Muni told snake. Once Narada Muni preaches to a snake, and the snake becomes a devotee. And now snake becomes so humble and submissive that it doesn't want to bite anybody. And then all the local children, whatever, they are ill-treating the snake, they're beating the snake. Then again, snake meets Narada Muni again and says, Narada Muni, now I'm not able to mm, react and like a snake. So all these people are taking advantage and they're really treating me. Narada Muni said, "Don't worry, don't do anything. Simply you act like you hiss. Let it look like you're going to bite them, but don't do anything. Just simply hiss. By just a display of some little external so-called anger, they'll keep away from you." So devotees also have to be smart. They're dealing with bad elements. But that doesn't mean that we go about just ill-treating people, thinking we are superior or we are protected. That will become a nama prad. So when required, yeah, we do. But if it's absolutely required. But the important point is somebody who's in complete Krishna consciousness, he or she is not thinking about personal sense gratification. Such a person doesn't have any karma phala. And obviously that person is always thinking about Guru Sadhu Shastra. Okay, whatever I'm doing, is it acceptable, is it not acceptable? So that consciousness itself will protect the devotee. But otherwise also, if you're not in that high level of consciousness, we should at least remember that I'm just one of the factors, and the ultimate factor is Super Soul, Krishna. So why am I being proud about something I did? Even the intelligence that is required to do an activity is given by Paramatma. If Paramatma wouldn't have been there, we wouldn't have even got the intelligence to do something. So it's very absurd to actually be proud about something we did. So we should always remember this. There are 5 factors. I, the soul, am just one factor. Shariravan. Yeah, check.
Hare
Yeah,
Krishna,
Hare
Prabhuji.
Krishna.
Prabhuji, so pride and false ego are the same thing, or
No,
they are
no, no, no.
different?
No. False ego just means that not knowing that I am the Atma. False ego just means that knowing that, thinking that I am the body. Generally, in casual usage, people say, "Oh, you're false ego," but that's not for Krishna conscious. I mean, people who understand this knowledge. False ego simply means that I'm wrongly identifying. Ego means identification. False ego means wrong identification. Identifying myself as the body is false ego. But pride means like saying, "Oh, I did this." This is pride, right? And that pride actually, even a person with false ego or real ego, both show. Real ego means people who know that I'm not the body, but still they're in very early stages, neophyte stage of bhakti. Who did kirtan? I did kirtan. Who gave class? I gave class. So that pride will still be there even amongst devotees who understand that I'm not this body, I'm spiritual. So they are, maybe they are clear that that they're not the body or mind, but they're not able to fully act on that platform. So they will still show some kind of pride.
Okay, thanks, Prabhuji.
Yeah. शरीरवान् मनोभिर्यत् कर्म प्रारभते नरः न्याय्यं वा विपरीतं वा पञ्चैते तस्य हेतवः. Whatever right or wrong action a man performs by body, mind, or speech is caused by these five factors. So it's not just by one factor, it's caused by five factors. The words right and wrong are very significant in this verse. Right work, anybody who wants to know what is right work, is work done in terms of prescribed directions in the scriptures. And wrong work is work done against the principles of scriptural injunctions. But whatever is done requires these five factors for its complete performance. Many people say, I'm doing right things. No, right? My own perception or my own viewpoint. No, right means it has to be based on Shastra. Right work means work which is recommended, prescribed work. Prescribed means somebody has given it, right? We say, I got a doctor's prescription, which means the doctor prescribed it. Doctor is a qualified person. He is prescribing what medicine I need to take for my condition. Similarly, Vedas, Acharyas, they are the authorities. They prescribe actions. And one who does actions according to that prescription, that is right work. Right? And the person who does that is the right doer. Any which way, we should know that there are five factors for every action. Tatraivam sati kartaram atmanam kevalam tu yaha pashyatyakrita buddhitvan na pashyati dhurmatihi. Therefore, one thinks himself the only doer, not considering the five factors, is certainly not very intelligent and cannot see things as they are. A foolish person cannot understand that the Supersoul is sitting as a friend within and conducting his actions. Although the material causes are the place, worker, endeavor, and senses, the final cause is the Supreme, the personality of God. Therefore, one should see not only the four material causes, but the Supreme efficient cause as well. One who does not see the Supreme thinks himself to be the doer. So basically, we have to see these five actions, and especially we have to see the Super Soul. Otherwise, we are considered less intelligent. यस्य नाहङ्कृतो भावो बुद्धिर्यस्य न लिप्यते अत्वापि स इमान् लोकान् हन्ति न निबध्यते. One who is not motivated by false ego. See, this false ego means thinking I am a body. Whose intelligence is not entangled. Though he kills men in this world, does not kill. Nor is he bound by his actions. So one could even be killing. He will not kill. He is not actually killing if he is not motivated by false ego. And whose intelligence is not entangled. Entangled in what? In materialism, in bodily platform. In this verse, the Lord informs Arjuna that the desire not to fight arises from false ego. So Krishna is directly telling Arjuna, even if you kill men in this world, you're not actually killing because you are not going to be doing it due to false ego. But if you don't fight, then that is because a desire arising because of false ego. So if we don't follow instructions of acharyas, thinking what people will say, that is false ego. Mm. For example, many people think that, okay, somebody is blaspheming the Lord or his devotees. We should keep quiet, we should be very humble. We should be nice to them. This is all false ego because Shastra doesn't say that. So it's whimsical, just thinking, okay, I want to be good. I want to be called good, materially. It's false ego. But one who is really humble, who is on the platform of real ego, he says, no. Acharya says, chastise, you know, get out of that place. So that is real ego, and that is actually humility. That is actual humility. That is why people actually have to understand what this humility means. Humility doesn't necessarily mean externals. Externally being nice, being soft spoken, all that is absolutely good. It's not that we should be harsh and rude and demoniac in our dealings. But being externally nice but internally on the platform of false ego is not humility. I've seen in general so far my experience with lot of devotees. I've seen that they don't understand this internal mode that is important. They're just external. And sometimes I've also seen because their external mode prevents them from, actually coming on the platform of internal humility. And actually, yeah. So anyway, the point is that we should not just be externally on the platform of false ego. Internally also we should be on the platform of false ego. Mm. And we should take our decisions based on Guru Sadhu Shastra and not our own whims. Right? And when we do anything based on our own whimsical thoughts, that is false ego. Arjuna thought himself to be the doer of action, but he did not consider the supreme sanction within and without, the super soul, Krishna. If one does not know that a super sanction is there, why should he act? But one who knows the instruments of work, himself as the worker and the Supreme Lord as the supreme sanctioner, is perfect in doing everything. Such a person is never in illusion. And many times when we have to take decisions, we get into illusion. We're not sure what to do. So you should base it on Guru Sadhu Shastra. Personal activity and responsibility arise from false ego and godlessness. See, false ego means godlessness. So personal activity and responsibility, meaning the karma phala comes when we are acting on the platform of false ego and godlessness or a lack of Krishna consciousness. Anyone who is acting in Krishna consciousness under the direction of the super soul or supreme person of Godhead or Guru, even though killing does not kill, nor is he ever affected by the reaction of such killing. When a soldier kills under the command of a superior officer, he is not subjected to be judged. But if a soldier kills on his personal account, then he is certainly judged by the court of law. See, generally also examples, as far as possible, we should take from what Prabhupada has said, because we cannot go wrong. And we should remember these examples. Right? That is why I quoted that soldier example before. Right? Because these are just authorized, authentic. So the whole point here is that we have to recognize the five factors. We should not act on the platform of false ego. We should always be on the platform of real ego. That means I am the soul, I am servant of Krishna, I am the servant of Krishna's representatives. So I have to follow Guru Sadhu Shastra. This is the mode in which we should act. Okay, so I'll stop here. If anybody has any questions, again, kindly ask.
Just a token of appreciation, Prabhu. The point that you have mentioned about this internal mode. Many times we tend to just have a lot of activities in bhakti and all, but we really don't think about the internal absorption and whether it is pleasing to Guru and Krishna. We just fall prey to the number of activities that we do. So this is a point to be really, we have to reflect on this. Thank you so much for bringing this up.
Okay, so yeah, I mean, it's a good takeaway. Though my original intent of that point was to say that external and internal have to be same. right? So the external consciousness, internal consciousness are external, the way we, external emotions, external mannerisms, etc., should be aligned with internal. It's not enough if you're just externally nice and humble, but internally we are not. And real humility means following instructions. Prabhupada says this elsewhere, but real humility means following instructions of Guru or Sadhu Shastra. The point you made is also very important, because sometimes what happens is we are just simply carried away by so much of activity, which is why being in Rajoguna will not help us, right? We're just running around, running around, running around. No time, no, we don't even have a moment to sit and reflect over, what are we doing? What is my internal mood? I'm just running like, headless chicken. Where am I heading? So that is the reason why we should do Shravanam. And when we do Shravanam, we should cut ourselves off of all that, external busyness, and just completely engage in Shravanam. And then we will have some key takeaways, right? Even when we are chanting, actually, chanting is the right time to reflect on our quality of our consciousness, right? It's very, very important that those 2 hours we actually reflect on our consciousness. Because how would we reflect on our consciousness? Because when we are chanting, if nothing is coming to our mind except just hearing Krishna's, holy names, and of course, naturally, if there are thoughts about Krishna which are coming about. Um, so I was reflecting on this couple of days back, right? Just as an aside. So there are 3 types of thoughts that come to our mind when we are chanting. First is completely material. So it's completely material. It's something to do with body, mind, our work, this, that, and all that, right? Some totally useless. This is first level or first type of thoughts that come to our mind during chanting. The second type of thoughts are connected to service. Like, for example, I have to get something done today. Okay, there's a deadline for me to finish some work, etc. Now I'm just meditating on that, which is a second level. And the third level is still higher, which is directly connected to Radha and Krishna and their pastimes, etc. Right? And all these are natural, actually. See, if you see today, we are not artificially trying to think about our material work. We are not artificially trying to think about our services. We are not trying to artificially think about Radha and Krishna. Whatever naturally is coming to us when we say Hare Krishna, right? Now, that is our current level of consciousness. When we say Hare Krishna and we are not even bothered about Radha and Krishna and we are totally engrossed in our material, that is the lowest level of consciousness. And this we should recognize, saying, oh, I'm engaged in so many activities in bhakti, but my internal is totally stuck in Rajoguna. That means that there is need to make change, bring about a change. Right? Then we have to reflect, we have to talk to devotees and slowly reduce a little bit of Rajoguna in our life. That will make that will do the trick. Just reducing Rajoguna. Then slowly we should come to the platform of meditating more on services. So His Grace Vidwan Gaurang Prabhu, who's been my all-time uh, guru, many things he's taught me. So he used to say that, of course, he's too busy. I don't even get to him now. But he used to say, he had said once, saying that if you're thinking about service, that is auspicious. So thinking about material things during chanting is totally inauspicious, aparada. Thinking about service, if natural thoughts come to our mind of service, it is auspicious, but it's not the ideal. But when it directly, naturally thoughts about Krishna's form, pastimes, qualities, etc., start coming in our mind when we are chanting Hare Krishna, then that is perfection. That is Shuddhanama. It should be very natural. It should be very, very natural. It's not that we are making any effort. Just like we are not making any effort to think about material things, just like that, we should not be making any effort to think about either our services or about Radha Krishna or their pastimes. It should all come naturally. And that reflects our consciousness. This is totally unconnected to the topic, but because Pratisha Mataji talked about our internal consciousness and external activities, I'm just saying that we can reflect that. Based on how our chanting is going, we can understand where my internals are. And then we have to put effort to fix that. That is the whole process. That is the whole process of Krishna consciousness. Okay. Anything else? Anybody?
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Not completely related to what we spoke, but now you were telling about mechanically we should not try and do things. So certain things when we like try to start doing in bhakti, for example, it is said that we have to like chant almost every time, like throughout the day. So initially it is difficult for us to do it. So we forcefully try to do it, or we try to like initially when we do it, we give it a start by forceful like doing it. Something in that regard. So is that also wrong, or should that also come out naturally?
By the way, one thing all of you have to be very, very clear. You are hearing with bias. Please hear as it is. I didn't mention this point at all. I didn't talk about mechanical. I didn't talk about mechanical actions. I talked about willingly thinking about something, right, during chanting. Meaning I'm actually thinking about my work, right? So we should not try to forcefully think about Radha and Krishna and this pastimes. That was the point I'm making. So anyway, this is a disconnected point, but whatever is recommended as the process in Krishna consciousness, it's like a person who is jaundiced. And that person has to drink sugarcane juice. He doesn't taste horribly bitter, but he has to still do it because that is the treatment. So now whatever activities that have been prescribed for us in devotional life, if they are recommended activities, whether we like it or not, we should try. And that mechanical initially will then change, but that is mechanical today just because we don't have any ruchi, but it doesn't mean that we will wait till ruchi arises. By doing it only ruchi will arise. So whatever is recommended activities, like for example, getting up early in the morning is not something which is very fun, but we should do it. Mechanically, we should do it. We might not be like so excited about getting up in the morning, but we should still do it. Yeah. So when we are talking about activities, that ruchi, that is why these multiple stages are there, right? Ado Shraddha, Sadhu Sangha, Bhajana Kriya, Anartha Nivritti, then Nishtha, then Asakti, Ruchi, Asakti, right? So when we come to the stage of Ruchi, then we will have taste for everything that we are doing. Till then, it's all mechanical. Okay. So we have to do it. I mean, this is why it's Vaidhi Bhakti. Vaidhi Bhakti means mechanical, just following rules. Oh, I have to do this. Okay, I'll do. Slowly, when we come to Raganuga, then there is Ruchi, then there is, yeah, spontaneity will come. Okay, but please, please try to not interpret what I am saying beyond what I am saying. We always hear, we should not hear with the layer. We should not hear with a layer. We should understand the message as it is. Then we could apply that in different scenarios, right? But I've been a victim of this before. When before completely hearing what the other person is saying, I'm just driven in my own thought process about something, right? And then I completely lose context of what the speaker is talking about. So it's always good to be completely present while hearing, and yeah, if there are doubts related, we should, yeah. That okay?
Yes, Prabhu, thank you.
Okay. Anything else? Okay, we'll close. Bhagavad Gita ki jai, Jagat Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Asa kalpatarubhishta kripa sindhu bhyo cha patidanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo. Hare Krishna.